Hello, welcome back to Running on Fuel, and today we have the Nitro rustler again, but we're doing some drag racing. My brother's friend is coming over with his Nitro, I think, and we'll be doing some drag racing with my brother's rustler and this kid's RC car, I think. So I got the paddle tires on it, Traxxas paddle tires. We are seeing some clutch issues with it. I checked the spring, or there's something squealing this morning when I would roll it. It's not doing that right now because I fixed it, but there's something wrong with the clutch spring. It was all messed up, the hook is broke. So I rigged it up and it's seeing some issues now. So we're going to get that fixed before he comes. So, yeah. Had to get a drink real quick. So, right here, you got the clutch right here. You gotta take that E-clip off, and then we also have to take off the spur gear. So you have to take the spur gear actually off first, then get that E-clip, and then I can pull the clutch right out. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but I'll, I'll basically do a tutorial on this, on how to do it, but I'll tell you everything that I'm doing. So on the shaft that holds on the spur gear, or the spur gear sits on that shaft, there's a nut on the end of it, which we have to take off. It should be a size 7 wrench. And a little trick that I taught myself. Let me find my wrench real quick. Here we go. Okay, here's my setting. So we put the wrench on the nut here, and to loosen it, we roll the car forward. It's gonna be hard at first, but it'll get easier as we go. And all it does is spin that shaft, and it loosens the nut. But make sure you're kind of pushing down on the back end of the car so it can grab, so the wheels can grab. But yeah, yeah. So I got the nut off. Now, what you're gonna want to do is pull this little spring off, to set all that to the side, and then you want to pull these 2 pieces off. Mine's dangling now, the second piece. But we want to take both of those pieces off, and all you should see is shaft and extra spur gear. Just spur gear, basically. Then we pull the spur gear off. We have to lift up the brake thing because I have a little bit too big of a gear. But then, yeah, if this kind of comes out, you just pop it back into place to where it's in the center of the spur gear, or it feels, and then set that off in your pile. Might want to check your spur gear too. Make sure it's all good. Mine's Traxxas tough, so we're all good. But no, that's my third spur gear. So then we want to take these 2 pieces off. It should look these 2 pieces should look identical to the 2 pieces that came off before the spur gear. Set that in our little pile. Then you have just bare shaft. Now you want to take that E-clip off the clutch. So I use this handy little tool here. It's like a screwdriver, except it has 2 little prongs on it. I get 1 prong in one of the little holes for the E-clip and just kind of pry it off. I will say it is a little hard. You can easily spin your E-clip though. So, this is a good time to talk about it, but, I saw somebody in the comments asked that, do they still make this truck? So, I got this E-clip off, by the way. Got the E-clip off right here. Set it in your pile. But then, this guy asked if they still make these. And, I obviously replied, but, I'll tell you all too. So, they do still make these. The car itself is based off of an 80s model. So, this car existed all the way back in the 80s. Nitro Rustler. But then, yes, they still make them. But, like, all the new stuff that you see in, like, the Jado, whatever it is, with the Easy Start, T-Max, Revo 3.3, T-Max 2.5 even. Well, I don't know about the Classic, T-Max Classic, but, they all use this, Nitro Slash, 4x4. The Slayer, they all use this Easy Start system. So it's like the latest tech. But yeah, this uses it too. So this has all the high tech of this day. It's just based off of an 80s model. So it's really just the body that is pretty much from the 80s, except it's brand new. So they still make these. They're still in production. So, yeah, let's check this out. So I pulled the clutch off. This bearing might come out with it and just sit on the shaft. To pull that bearing off, and then you put it back in that little hole there, where that bearing is. Then you can, my front bearing fell off up there. So you just pop it back into the, like that, pinion of the clutch bell. And there goes the bearing from the bottom now. Okay. So, we got that off. Now, we have this. If you just finish running your car, be careful because the flywheel's right there and it's going to be hot. So, yeah. There. Okay. So it looks all good. The spread is a little tight. But all you do is stretch it out a little bit. There we go. And it's not going to make a perfect circle because it'll spread out into the clutch bell and then make a perfect circle. So obviously not a perfect circle right now, but it will spread into the clutch bell and make a perfect. So yeah. So back to our conversation here. This Rustler has like the latest technology, all that stuff. It's just based off an 80s model. Most of the Rustlers you see now, like the Rustler 2-wheel drive, not the XL, all look almost identical to this, except newer. Here, I'll show my brother's body. Oh, shoot, he has his body clips in there. I believe I only dropped one. Yeah. Okay. So here's my brother's body. Looks almost the same as mine. My brother's. So they look pretty much the same. Little side view. So mine says Nitro because mine's better, but no. So, if you're wondering what this little notch right here in the grill is, well, I cleaned my body with brake clean, and obviously stickers don't like brake clean. Figure that one out. I love brake clean, so I use it for many different things. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put that clutch, make sure it's all together like this. Got the spring and that notch there hooked to itself, and it spreads. It should have tension on it though. It'll go right back because there's a spring. So we're going to make sure it's all put together. There's 2 little prongs there. That's what those holes go into. The prongs go into those holes. And the clutch shoes just like pivot around it, basically. Oh. Make sure the hook where the spring is not like in one of those holes, kind of. Because your prongs won't go in then. So I gotta reposition the spring. Hi.
What are you doing?
Fixing.
What?
Fixing.
Fixing what?
RC car.
A what?
RC.
A C?
RC.
Ah. You're a C. What was that?
Mm-hmm.
What about this stuff?
Oh.
I'm not sure whose those are.
Oh, Luke's. So we got the clutch shoes back on. Like that. Now what we do is we make sure both bearings are in. And pop the clutch bell back in. That's that little pinion gear with the round weird shape around it. Then you put the E-clip back on the shaft. This takes me a while too. I have to get a flathead screwdriver and push it on. And it likes to shoot itself elsewhere. So, gotta kind of like hold it on the shaft, but also try not to hit your fingers. I'll try to push it up. So, our little conversation, the 4x4 rustler looks nothing like this. That came out just a couple of years ago. But, that's like high tech. But, like the Rustler Ultimate 4x4 VXL. Rustler 4x4 VXL Ultimate came out a couple of years ago. So that's like the latest tech. You can't get Ultimate Nitro Rustlers. You can't get them. You can't get 2-wheel drive Rustler Ultimates either, because those are just like old. But like the Rustler, the Bandit, all of them have the Ultra shocks. I'm saving up for different shocks. I do not like these shocks. They suck. But yeah. I'm also saving up for some metal parts, because things keep breaking. It's not really like arms and stuff that they make metal, but I want arms, metal shocks, all that stuff. This shock doesn't even have oil in it. I drained it all. It's all rigged up. I used a shock spacer because the bottom part of the shock fell out, so I put a shock spacer, bent it together, and then melted it together. So now it's one, and then I put it over the shock and put the spring on. So the arm literally holds the shock together. And then I had to put a screw back in. I lost the screw, so it's different from this one, but who cares? So, yeah. It's held on, so whatever. So yeah, they do make this car still. This guy actually wanted to pick a used one up that day. Sorry I didn't get to you right away, but I've been busy for the past month because school just got out. 2 weeks ago. Not last week, but the week before. It was the 14th of May. But, yeah, I've been busy all summer and this month with, like, Mother's Day, all that kind of stuff. We celebrate that in our family. So now back to the car. You get your 2 little pieces that went on before the spur gear. Those. You put them together. That little gold piece goes in that notch. Make sure you pinch that together and hold it on. Once you get it on, hold it together. Then you take your spur gear, make sure that piece is in the middle. You line it up because it'll be impossible to get it on once you kind of get it over the shaft and under that brake thing, because that brake it's not the best design, but it works. And I just messed up my spur gear. That middle piece fell off. So put that back on. Line it up with the hex on the shaft. So yeah, they still make this car, and very nice. It's a very good car. So once you get that on, you put your 2 pieces together again, like that, and put the silver ring closest to the pinion gear. Make sure you did that on both sides. But then, or the spur gear, sorry. But line it up. I messed up, so I have to take both pieces again. Or not again. Both pieces off. Come on. There we go. Okay, now you hold that to the pinion so it doesn't fall apart. Then you put your spring on. Put your nut on. And then we're going to do the same trick. Put your wrench on. Now pull your car backwards to tighten it. And a little test that I do is I pinch the spur gear really tight and try and roll it. If the tires slide, you're good. Because if they do roll, then you have to complete the process over again, except you don't do anything with the clutch. You just pull all the pinion pieces off, put them back on, and you should be good. Or you tighten this nut. You try that first, actually, just to be sure. But yeah. So we're ready for a drag race. Hopefully we get some W's. I've been running pretty good. Been testing it. I'm going to tighten this zip tie. Holds on my receiver. So I'll fall loose. There we go. Okay. I'm going to cut that. Where's this? Okay. There we go. Cut that zip tie shorter. Okay, here we go. All ready for a drag race. But yeah, the Nitro Rustler is still made. It's new and great. So you can put your 7mm back and your tools that you use to take off the clutch and everything, or the E-clip, and put it back on. So I'll see you in the next running on fuel, guys. Peace.